I'm Oliver Trevina in studio with the Hollywood Reporter, joined by my fellow Brit, Tom Ellis.
Hello, mate.
How are you? This is nice. It's very professional.
It's very professional. Fancy meeting you here.
Hey, fancy seeing you here. Just by coincidence, Tom just stopped into the studios and I was like, hey, do you want to do an interview? And the rest will be history. There you go. I have to say, quite the devil, aren't you?
Oh, you do have to say that.
I couldn't resist. I was thinking about it all day and I was like, should I, shouldn't I? I should.
I think most people do go with some kind of devilish pun at the start of an interview.
Yeah. Well, my mum used to, is that an English thing? Because all she used to say is, you little devil.
You little devil, speak of the devil. Like, it's quite funny, actually, since doing the show, a lot of the sort of Britishisms that are to do with, like, bloody hell, which is like a staple in the show now, was something that just came out of me sort of experimenting during the pilot.
And
just chucking stuff in that was, like, hell-related but British.
Well, it's hell-related, but in England it's normal.
It's just normal.
Which is very worrying, very worrying. But yeah, season 3, 24 episodes, coming to an end.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of talking about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, it's been. I mean, gosh, even getting this far in the process, I've done a few things where, like, I've done a season over here, or done pilots for stuff that's never been picked up. Getting to like season 3, it's a bit kind of like, how did that happen?
Right.
But it's been so much fun.
It looks like it's fun.
It really is. I mean, I suppose, like, when I was like choosing what I wanted to do and parts and stuff like that, when the idea of doing something like this, which could potentially go for a long time, came up, I thought, well, it's got to be really a part that I love doing. Right. And I found it.
There you go.
I feel very lucky.
It suits you. It really does suit you.
It's weirdly like a glove.
It's got a bit of depth and a few layers to him, and it is.
And it's sort of, it was the thing that I really loved about it in the first place is that it was funny, and like anyone that knows me knows that I love comedy, and I've worked a lot in comedy in the UK.
Right. You can't stop cracking jokes. There was a few just before we started.
It's very annoying. I know. I've got sort of like. I've got like dad joke Tourette's, where it just sort of comes out. But I and that's sort of something very that I think I felt like I didn't want to step too far away from comedy, but if I could incorporate drama. Anyway, this job Lucifer came along, and it was like, oh my gosh, I get to do all of it, and sing a bit as well. So there we go.
Yeah. What more can you want? What more can you
want?
And obviously Lieutenant Pierce, we now know is Cain. So you guys have this kind of bromance.
Cain from the Bible. Cain.
Yeah, the world's first murderer.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So we got Tom Welling who joined our cast this year, and we think that he is this Lieutenant Pierce, this new lieutenant. And slowly in the first half of the season, it becomes apparent that he may not be all he seems.
Well, he's talking about his dead brother, and then you realise he killed his brother, and it was Abel.
Exactly,
so,
and then Lucifer twigs on this, and then forges a sort of unholy alliance with him, because he realises that Cain's biggest desire is to die, and Lucifer's biggest desire is to piss his dad off, basically. And it's his dad that sort of cursed Cain, so he's like, well, I'll tell you what, I won't tell anyone if you let me kill you. Right. So that becomes the plan, and so we...
good bargaining.
Yeah.
It's good bargaining.
So Lucifer, there's a whole episode spent where Lucifer's trying to work out how to do it, because Cain has tried everything possible to kill himself. Right. And then with the episode coming up this week is one where it's Lucifer's like he's got like writer's block, basically. Right. And then at the end of the episode, he finally gets his idea on how he's going to kill Cain, which we find in the one after this, which is one of my favourites. I can't tell you too much. You can't tell us too much. But it's a really good episode.
It is a show full of twists. I think that's obviously that's why it's season 3, episode 24, and it's may keep on going. Yeah, because of the twists and stuff.
Keep on guessing, and we've had the same writing staff since day one, and I think it really tells because they love the characters, right? As we do, the actors love the characters and love working. All of us love sort of working on the show and playing around with these dynamics, and it's just the writing. I always look forward to picking up the next script. Right. Like for example, last night I read the penultimate episode of this season. Okay. And I was crying at the end of it. And
there's a little clue.
Yeah, not because it's a really bad episode.
He's dead. He's off the show. Tommy's now unemployed.
I've just realised.
You just gave it away.
They are killing me off. But no, it's and we're all involved like that. And I want it to be good. I want the show to be good. And like the writers have never let us down. It's been great.
It's amazing. Do you know? Is there any info that's been given on season 4? Too early?
We don't know yet. We are waiting to find out. But it's. We hope it will be coming back next year because the show seems to have gathered quite a bit of momentum. So.
Okay. If you could have fun with it and you could just for giggles write your own season 4, what would you like to see happen with Lucifer?
Oh gosh, I mean, I love the show when it goes a bit darker.
Right.
And it's a fine line because I think the show is obviously there's lots of murders in it.
Right.
I think,
Quite a few.
Investigating murders every week.
Yeah.
But when the show sort of explores the darkness of like LA and LA nightlife,
right.
that coupled with the sort of the bright humour of the show, right. I think that's when it really zings. So to maybe take a few more chances on the darkness of the show next year would be quite fun.
I think if there was like stats out for any show ever made with that amount of murders and that amount of laughs to go with it, I think Lucifer's winning because the two funny. Don't really normally go together.
We call Lauren Sherman one a week Decker.
Yeah, there you go.
Because she solves one a week.
There you go. Love that. The show obviously, when it's going this many seasons and stuff, you have so many guest stars.
Yeah.
If you could have anyone guest star on the show.
Ooh. Anyone at all?
Anyone at all.
Well,
this is Hollywood, Tom. You can have anyone.
I love Tom Hanks. I grew up loving Tom Hanks, and I still love Tom Hanks in a very healthy way.
That's good to know.
I think someone like Tom Hanks...
You might want to stop sitting outside his door. Tom called here earlier and asked us if we could just mention it.
Yeah, no, that is true.
Yeah.
But I think someone like him, because I think what I love about his acting is that he seems there's an inner child in him, and he seems to find the fun in most things. Right. And I think people that come on our show that embrace that, like Patrick Fabian, a guest that we had on recently, he was fantastic, and he just got the show. And I just want people to come on and have fun because that's basically
you.
Yeah, it's basically me, but it is really good fun acting.
Yeah.
And working on a TV show should be fun, and certainly when we're dealing with the material we're dealing with, there's no reason we shouldn't be.
Right.
As long as it doesn't get too bit self-congratulatory.
Right.
But you
can do a little bit of that.
It's fun. Take the work seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously, and that's the best way to go into it.
Okay, love that. Favourite Tom Hanks movie?
Ooh, probably Big. Because it's just like a seminal kind of movie in my life.
There's so many though.
And I want that apartment. I've always wanted that apartment.
You can get it now, surely. I mean, if it goes season 4, you can.
Yeah,
if it goes season 4, you can. Is it weird when someone? I always think this. You're in and around Hollywood and you're with actor friends, and someone will suddenly approach and be like, "That's Superman," or anything. When suddenly you're called the devil.
Do you
get used to that?
I've gotten so used to it. I think the weirdest one for me was when the show had just come out, and we used to shoot in Vancouver for the first 2 years, and I was travelling back to Canada, and the TSA guy, the burly kind of big, scary American TSA people
that really don't want to let you in.
Yeah, don't want to let you in. He was like, he looked at me, and then he gave me a double look, and then there's a row of people behind me, and he just goes, "You're Lucifer, man." And I was like, "I am." And then I had to turn to the people behind me and go, "But I'm not." Just to sort of clarify
just
that.
Before, and you were leaving and getting on a flight, so that's really the last person you want to get on a flight.
Exactly. But I've kind of gotten used to it now. But yeah, it is strange. It was strange when it first started happening.
Love that. We're going to, quick questions here. THR's top 5.
Ooh.
Really easy. Movie you watched as a kid that you wished you were in?
Mary Poppins.
As Mary?
As Bert. Honestly, honestly, that is an honest answer. I'm obsessed about that movie.
The new one's coming out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mary Poppins. Yeah.
Yes. Which
Emily
is
Blunt's
a
Mary Poppins,
sequel. It's not a remake. Is that right?
Is that how it's going?
I think that's what they've talked about.
Okay.
I'm referring to people off camera.
Yeah, we're like,
I have no idea
what's going
either.
on? Mary's not here. We won't look at Mary.
I'm dubious about it. It's such a kind of huge movie in my life. So anyway,
we'll see how that goes. You're obviously British and living in LA. One thing you miss most about home?
Architecture.
Okay. And one thing, the thing that you love most about LA?
The climate.
Fairly
Is that
obvious.
A standard answer for a
It's
Brit?
actually not, but it's a safe one. Do you have a favourite movie line?
A favourite movie line? Probably, "Where we're going, we don't need roads."
It's a good one. Actors who inspired you growing up?
Well, Tom Hanks, obviously. Kenneth Branagh. When I was kind of at school and struggling with the concept of Shakespeare and understanding it, and then I watched his Much Ado About Nothing. Right. And I just thought it was brilliant.
Right. Now we get it.
Now I get it, and now that's how you speak it and infuse it with kind of feeling, and now I get it. And it was a kind of huge light bulb moment for me. So him, and there's a British actor called Mark Rylance, who is the best actor you will ever see on stage, without a doubt.
Amazing. They were good ones. That was strong.
Thanks, man.
That was strong, real strong. One lesson you've learnt during your career in Hollywood that comes to mind?
I think, like, literally, and this might sound cliche, but the more you put into it, the more you get out of it.
Okay.
And I think when I first started coming out here and auditioning and stuff, I'd sort of worked at home for a while, and I had to get rid of this sort of chip on my shoulder about the fact that why can't the people see that I've worked before, rather than just think I'm just, you know,
right.
like you have to earn your stripes again, basically.
Right.
And rather than resent that, I kind of, a friend of mine and I was sitting talking one night, and he'd been successful at it, and he said, look, why don't you stay up till 3 in the morning learning the lines for your audition and working on every single thing and whatever? Why go out with people at 9 o'clock in the evening for dinner?
Right.
You know, and just spend an hour on it before you do it. It's like, why not give yourself the best possible chance? Because that, if you come out of an audition room going, I couldn't have done a better job, then you've done the best audition you can do.
What more do you need? What more advice do you need? It's great. From Lucifer as well.